Hey there, YouTube. So we're working on the carburetors on the bike today. Angle this down so you can actually see them. Alright, so we're working on the carburetors. I got the new diaphragm in today. It comes with the slide. I'll just have to transfer the old needle over to the new one, which here's the old busted diaphragm. So we'll go ahead, screwdriver to do that with. Hey, you get to see how messy much of the box is because you're on top of it. How's that gonna work? Yeah. Alright, so you just turn that. There's your needle. Oh, and it comes with a new little needle retainer piece. Isn't that nice? It'll come out. There it goes. So go ahead and drop the new needle in there. Put the needle retainer, just throw the needle retainer in there and drop the needle back out. Every time I drop it in there, it wants to drop in upside down. Gotta flip it. Come on. Let's do this backwards and see if it works better. Nope, I still flipped it upside down. There we go. Clean that varnish off of this needle. Nice and clean, or the needle. It's not new. Both needles are clean. These are the springs that come out. Now I actually did just mess up one of these carburetors. I broke off the idle screw. Where did it go? Here's the rest of the idle screw. So hopefully I don't need to bump it up. It looked like it was idling around 900 like it's supposed to, so I think I'll be okay. But that kind of sucks. So I don't know what I'm gonna do to solve that issue. But it might not even be an issue, so I'm not gonna stress about it for right now. Go get that. Diaphragm caps. Hang on. Be right back. Alright, so I'm back with the diaphragm caps. Go ahead and put these diaphragms in. The way you want to do that, there's this little tab here. And I don't know if you can see it. This little, there you go, little ear. It goes over this little pin. I guess not all of them have that on them. Some of them just have like a, you know, they have like a cutout in the top where the air bleeds in, because there's vacuum that goes in here and pulls this diaphragm up. That's how it operates. Make sure this is all seated in there. I could actually use some of that silicone grease to hold it down. I have to figure out which one goes on here. I believe it's this one. Make sure looks like we're sealing up all the way around. Because I got these diaphragms in today, I'll probably get the wrong pipe. I forgot to put the spring in there. Silly me. So that holds it down in there, and then the vacuum overcomes the spring pressure, and that's kind of how these carburetors are tuned. It's by the ramp on that needle, and by the spring pressure. That's how you tune these. Supposedly they're very tricky to tune, but thankfully this bike's stock, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Hear the little air puffing. Go ahead and do one whole carb at a time. We're going to work on, I'm going to put the foot, or the bowl on there. Oh, it's pretty hard. Hopefully it doesn't leak. didn't leak before, so hopefully they don't now. Guess we'll find out. Cue the time lapse. So they're all together. And all works. They seem to move down at about the same speed, which is good. They need to respond about the same. So now that they're all put together, I'm going to go put them on. So they'll all jump cut when they're back over at the bike. Alright, so we're back. Got a little bit different view here. I'll go ahead and put these carburetors in. So, I'm trying to remember how I got them out. Just like that. It's not too hard to work on this bike, but some spots are a little cramped. Some things are a little difficult to work with, but overall it's not too bad. Man, these are tricky to get in here. So that one's in, and that one's in. Alright, so we got the carbs in. And tighten up these boots that hold them down. Alright, so I'm finishing up this hose clamp here. I'm surprised these intake boots are having any of this. They're pretty stiff. And I don't have a JIS screwdriver, so I'm kind of having to put some extra force in the screw on these to keep them from camming out. So I'm going to hook up the Hook up the throttle cable right there. Man, I'm excited, I tell you. Let's see. And of course, to make it go easier, I used a little bit of the silicone brake grease, because that would not have happened. That would have not have gone on there if I hadn't. So it was actually really difficult to get them out of the boots to begin with. So it's pretty necessary to use that kind of stuff. Plus, it lets it seat in there very well, and kind of helps it seal up a little bit too, because it lets it get back in the. There's a little there's a lip inside there, and it goes into a spot. These don't have it, but there's basically like a little like a groove around the base of the carburetor, and it sits down in there real nice and tight. So that's what seals them, and the clamps just keep them from expanding to come off, a lot like regular hose clamps do. So I gotta hook up the chokes, which one goes, I guess the longer one goes over this way. And then the short one goes here. We'll just go ahead and thread those in there. Once I get this done, I'll just go and do the fuel hoses and run the fuel hoses down to the pump, and I'll probably do a test fire with a little bit of gas in the reserve tank. I'll take the seat off and put some fuel in the reserve to make sure all that's working like it's supposed to. So wish I had like some WD-40 or something like that to put on these little choke cable boots so these nuts would turn easier, because it's kind of catching on with the friction of the rubber piece there. I got that one most of the way in. I'm gonna have to get at it with a pair of pliers or something. See if I can route this in a way that keeps it out of the way of this clutch tube, and the air box goes over the top of here. So today's Wednesday, my dudes, and dudettes, if you're watching. So this Friday and next Monday, we got some more parts coming in. On Friday I should have a replacement brake lever, my left rear turn signal, and fork seals and tires. So when I say this thing's coming together and I'm getting excited, that's what I mean. It's really coming together. What else do I need to get? There's one other piece I ordered. I can't remember what it is now. It's another piece I thought was coming in Monday, but just about everything I need is going to be coming in. You know, really it's just down to once I have all this buttoned up here, all this air box and all this stuff, I can actually pressure wash the bike without getting water in the engine. So but I should be able to fill up this cooling system and flush it with the engine warm, actually get some fuel pumping through it and do all that. So really making some progress here, and it's getting close to being ready for the road, to be honest. I should have taken some rust off of this thing, but I can do that on the bike. This is just throw it on the ground. This is the holder for the throttle cable. And this is like a push-pull throttle cable setup. That's why you see two of them here. So. Oh man. Here's a clip that holds that. This little hook here holds the choke cable. So I should have went under the coils with it. Oh well. Put that there. Yeah, I think that's what that's for. Looks right. Kind of finger tighten these in and go get a little wrench and finish it up here. I gotta go get a wrench to put throttle cables on too. Come on. No. That one's in. Now the reason they do a push-pull cable is for redundancy, and it actually is a safety thing. So basically if your throttle gets stuck open, you can actually force it back to closed. It's a nice thing. Or if your throttle's kind of slow because it's really cold out like it is, you can make it go back faster until it's warmed up or whatever. It's a nice thing. It's a fail-safe mechanism for your throttle cables. That's all it is. Go get something to tighten that down. Oh, it's not quarter inch. And it's not 8, so it's probably, I don't know, 7 millimeter. It's pliers right now, just for testing purposes. Alright, let's see if the auto cables actually work. Might need a little more attention there. It's a little stiff. I mean, it moves easy enough, but it doesn't really return on its own, so. But I can run it. That's the important part. Just gonna go ahead and start working on these. You know, we got the fuel hoses here, and I'll figure out where the T is gonna go. I guess that's just gonna route up and in there. There's not anywhere to hold it. Actually, I think there is. I believe this little metal tie here is supposed to hold the clutch tube. Well, I was hoping to reuse the factory thing, but it doesn't have the little tab that this goes in. So, zip tie. I'll go get one. Put that up in the frame. There we go. Tucked away. Go ahead and get these choke cables snug down. Yeah, this one over here, the rubber boot on it is really tight. It's really making it not easy. Do they come off? I'm worried I'm going to break it. Oh, they do. Good. It does come off. I'm going to put a little bit of something on it. A little bit of that good silicone buttery looking stuff. Just so that boot moves around easier. There we go. That way with the all that stuff just got time lapsed. It's going to be edited out. So what you've seen there that was time lapsed was lengthy. So I'm going to go ahead and, for the sake of having a shorter video, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the fuel lines here. I'm going to put some gas in the reserve tank and come back when it's ready to start. So, see you in a second. Alright, so we're back. Got the fuel system all hooked up. This is just the piece of the hose that goes to the main tank. And I just used one of these little hand pumps here to fill up the reserve tank. It should be almost full. Actually, I forgot, I gotta button up the cooling system a little bit. The ignition key is on. I've already sprayed a little bit of fuel in there. So I filled up the reserve tank, I finished the cooling system, putting it back together. It's filled up, and Honda gives you this really lovely bleed screw on the thermostat housing. So you can just run the water hose, and when it stops blowing bubbles, you put the screw back in and fill it back up to the top of the neck. So it's full of water, it's ready to go. Let's see what happens. It's going to take a while to get fuel to fill up the carbs, so I'm going to have to spoon feed it. Alright, it tried to fire up and then decided it didn't want to anymore. Let's see. Give it a second to cool off. Starter's not even warm or nothing. This is a first start, a real one, not some manufactured one where it goes right. I'll have to go get the jumper cables. I cranked it too long. So I'm gonna get the jump starter and get the jumper cables out, and we'll spin this over a little faster. Jump cut. Alright, I'm gonna try this again. Got the jumper cables hooked up. And it's probably not gonna idle very good because I just remembered I never set up the idle adjustment, which is really hard to do on that side. It'd be 2.5 turns out, which it probably already is 2.5 turns out. I think I messed with them before. One side should run good. The other one's covered up by the throttle cable bracket and all that, but I just want to see if it'll work. Here we go. Solid. That's nice. Well, I guess I spoke too soon. What was that all about?